Harihi, Harihi, Harihi Om Tats Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru. Shuddho Buddho Vimuktaha Sudhishikara Giram Mukhyatat Paryabhumi Yasmad Jatam Samastam Jagadidam Amrtat Vyapya Sarvam Sthito Yaha Yasyam Sham Shavatarei Suranaravanajai Rakshitam Sarvametad Tam Bhumanam Mukundam Hridigatam Amalam Krishnameva Prapadye Tam Bhumanam Mukundam Hridigatam Amalam Krishnameva Prapadye Madhya Hridaya Kashe Sadanandamayo Guruhu Udetu Satatam Samyak Ajnana Timirarunaha. Harihi, Harihi, Harihi Om Tats Jaya Guru. We shall have the chorus recitation of Omkara 3 times. All of you should get ready for it. Understand the recitation should permeate the entire globe, showering its benedictions on all creatures and beings upon the earth. I want your minds to expand and enlarge to this kind of a dimension. Interlock your fingers, put them on your lap, sit comfortably erect, close your eyes, open the mouth as well as the heart and join me. Now the Bhagavad Gita sloka. Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat.
Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat.
Yachogamuchoshanam indriyanam.
Yachogamuchoshanam indriyanam.
Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat.
Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat.
Yachogamuchoshanam indriyanam.
Yachogamuchoshanam indriyanam.
Avapya bhuma vasapatnamriddham.
Avapya bhuma vasapatnamriddham.
Rajyam suranamapi chadhipatyam.
Rajyam suranamapi chadhipatyam.
Rajyam suranamapi chadhipatyam.
Rajyam suranamapi chadhipatyam.
We are still on the last verse. We are still on the last verse of the second chapter. As I told you earlier, many of you must be remembering, that the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita marks the end of the discussion. It is concluding with the wonderful verse, Esha Brahmi Sthidif Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyadi Stitva Asyam Antakalebi Brahma Nirvanam Richadi. This is that expansional state of self-realization. The Atmasthiti or the absorptional state is for an individual to remain alone by himself, preferably either in a secluded spot or if it is in his own room or a flat, close the door. You should be alone in the room on an asana. It's a state where everything gets completely absorbed into their very source. That is called the Samadhi. Atmasthiti. It is a state in which you remain absorbed into yourself. There is no expansion there. But in the Brahmasthiti, it is a fully expansional state. There is no question of absorption there. You will be active and interactive. Whether you are active or interactive, in the whole course you will find you are equally connected to the Supreme Truth, which encircles you on the one hand and penetrates you on the other. No disconnection at all takes place. This kind of an assurance is something very, very great. Unfortunately, people are not able to understand it with the necessary shrewdness and perceptivity, and they lose what is great otherwise. Imagine Vasistha Deva, he was all along active and interactive. Imagine Sri Rama, who was so much illumined and who sat completely absorbed into himself. He also got up. Vasistha Deva awakened him and he was active until the last point of his life. After sending away Lakshmana, what did Rama do? He simply went over to Sarayu and got into it. What about Krishna? He was also active and interactive. Finding his own Vrishnikula started entering into a quarrel between yourselves, Krishna went to appease them. They blew him severely. So he decided, no more life for me. I have reached the end of it. So coolly he went away and sat leaning upon a tree, a trunk of a tree, and he found his end. So this is something very, very important, this Brahmasthiti. That is why I am spending so much time on it. I will recite and you can also follow me. It is for you that I recite. Esha Brahmi Sthidif Partha
Esha Brahmi Sthidif Partha
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyadi
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati
Sthitvasyam Antakalebi
Sthitvasyam Antakalepi
Brahma Nirvanam Richadi.
Brahma Nirvanam Richati.
I would like you to understand that Bhagavad Gita itself is a commentary on our Upanishads. Why it is called a commentary? Because the subject matter discussed in Bhagavad Gita, disclosed, is what the Upanishads deal with. Call it either the self, Atma, or Brahman, the supreme reality. This is the only subject discussed. But in the Upanishads, the discussion are always in the solitude of the forest. A knower, a sage, an austere person, somebody from the world will be going to him after renouncing everything. He is not able to find answers to his questions. He consulted several people nearby. Nobody had any answer for life's questions. So he decided that there are those people who leave everything and sit in the solitude of the forest. Let me go to them and see whether I have an answer for my questions. Like that they go. So they have all the leisure, all the time, all the intimacy, all the closeness. So the discussion takes place in a very peaceful atmosphere, no hurry at all. But in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, that was not the situation. 4.5 million warriors had already assembled, war cries had been raised, and discharge of arrows alone was to take place. At that nick of the moment, Arjuna wanted to examine the armies. He examined and completely crumbled. The crumbled Arjuna had to be revived right then and there. Right then and there. What is the way for it? Arjuna's body had become weak, it was trembling, mind was whirling, intelligence was arguing wrongly, Gandhi was slipped from his hand. So Arjuna had nothing left in him. Everything deserted him. Then Krishna decided to awaken him, enlighten him, arouse him, instill into him words of truth, words of courage, words of clarity, words of wisdom. So when he started speaking in such a manner, hearing 64 letters, Arjuna's sympathy, he was able to keep away. And he started questioning Krishna from his intelligence. So what did Krishna do? He activated the intelligence of Arjuna, employing the tool of Krishna's own intelligence. So it was enlightened Krishna and deluded Arjuna. The dialogue was between. In the Brahmasthiti, you will always find the mind has had a great degree of expansion. Not only that, it has become very, very flexible. Flexible to this extent that it can assimilate all kinds of impact coming from all kinds of interaction. We have interactions at home, interactions in the professional front, interactions in the societal front. In all these places you will find this person will be able to function very well. He has got an expansion, he has got a loftiness, he has got a magnificent measure, a great treasure he has been able to access. So he becomes a mighty performer, a mighty enjoyer, and a mighty sufferer. In Yoga Vasistha Ramayana, Sage Vasistha discusses this subject in a threadbare manner for the 16-year-old Rama. Far more than Maha a magnificent performer, Vasistha Deva dwells upon Maha Bhokta. One refers to the performer, the other refers to the enjoyer and sufferer. Very few people in this world are good performers. Mostly they are selfish, they are limited to their families, they cannot think beyond their family. Until they grow up, parents. Once they grow up, their married partner. Thereafter, the children. This is all their nature. So how can you expect a Maha Kartrutva on their part? But everybody is enjoying and suffering. So he says Maha Bhokta. So many verses Sage Vasistha has sung, told Sri Rama about Maha Bhokta. So I explained Mahakarta the other day. Na kinchana dveshti tatha, na kinchit abhigangshadi, bhungte cha prakritam sarvam, Maha Bhokta sauchyade. What is meant by this Maha Bhokta? After all, you have a mind. Everybody has. We have an intelligence also and an ego. I have said number of times that our inner personality consists of only the emotional mind, the rational intelligence and the assertional ego. There is no fourth factor there. The only other is the substratum for everything, namely the soul. That is indicated by the term I. So he says, Na kinchana dveshti tatha. Na kinchana dveshti. Get away from your mind all kinds of dislike and hatred for anyone, even towards an ant or a mosquito. Dislike, by its very nature, it is unpleasant. When a man dislikes something, who is affected most? The disliking mind, its possessor. Similarly, hatred, the most powerful form of dislike. So, na kinchana dveshti. Understand. You have to get rid of hatred from your mind. Sublimate it, eliminate it, rise above it, dissolve it. Na kinchit abhikankshati. Once the hatred is gone, also be free from desire and greed. Bhuntecha prakritam sarvam. When these two are abandoned, do you think life will come to a full point, a stop? Certainly not. As long as the earth is revolving on its own axis and around the sun, everything in the earth will continue to pulsate. All the plants, all the trees, all the creatures, the water animals, the airborne birds, human beings, everybody, the hearts will be beating, lungs will be bellowing, the intestines will be functioning, liver will be functioning, kidney will be functioning. Nothing is going to stop. But the mind becomes free. It becomes free from the stranglehold of desire and greed. By desire, nothing is achieved. Only when you make an effort, you have an outcome in the form of result or objective. In this world is a place for activity. I describe the world as karma sankula. This is activity ridden. Nothing in this world is keeping quiet at all. Even within an atom, with what a tremendous speed the electron is revolving around the nucleus. Where do you find anything absolutely still? So everything is pulsating, vibrating, moving. So as long as the earth is revolving and the heart is beating, lungs are bellowing, our activity will go on. But that interception and constriction imposed by the desire will not be there. So you will be doing your activity with far greater ease, facility, comfort, harmony, attunement, dedication, commitment and freedom. All these are qualities of the mind. Bhuntecha prakritam sarvam. Whatever in the course of life comes to you, simply accept and experience them. Whatever goes, okay. Maha Bhokta sauchyate. So who is a Maha Bhokta? A Maha Bhokta is one who is prepared to accept and be at home with anything and everything that comes. Equally at home with whatever goes. You have to be at home with only whatever comes. You are not supposed to bring. Whatever comes, that's all. It has already come. Then why should you have disharmony or resistance towards them? So you become a Maha Bhokta, a magnificent experiencer only when the mind sheds its hatred, the mind sheds its greed, and the mind becomes harmonious in experiencing whatever nature or providence or chance brings. Imagine what a smooth life will it be. You have no worry, no anxiety. Look to every day is a fresh beginning. Live for 24 hours. 16 hours you are active, 8 hours you are asleep. So only 16 hours of the day you are going to be active, and in that activity you will find you don't have any worry or anxiety. Everything is done by nature. Maha Bhokta sauchyate. See, he comes back to the individual. Nadatte pyadadanascha najaratya ajarannavi bhunjanobi nayo bhungte Maha Bhokta sauchyate. na adatte adadanascha. These appear to be contradictory. You receive, at the same time you understand that you don't receive at all. The feeling of reception, it is arising in the mind. What are you receiving? Where will you keep? What will you leave? Even if you leave, where will you keep the article that you leave? Either reception or rejection, both are not possible in this world physically at all. It is a misnomer. People don't understand. You are breathing air. Is it that you willfully breathe? Can you say stop? Can you regulate the breath? You are breathing because of the lungs and the nose, and because of the availability of oxygen around. So the breathing is a process, put into force by nature through a process of biological laws and processes. Our blood is circulating, the body is generating and preserving heat. In all these, do you have any will or wish? Suppose you feel my heart should not beat, will it stop? Suppose you feel it's enough I have taken breath, my dear lungs, you stop, will it stop? So understand it, put the negative and think, nadatepi adadanasya. As long as you live in this body, you will have to breathe, you will have to have food. If you are a family man, you will have to look after the family. If you are young, you may get married. And after marriage, your wife may become pregnant and you will become a parent. Try to become a parent, maximum of 1 or 2 people to replace you, nothing more. Have moderation. Allow the course of life to have its own process. Everything you accept as it comes. Once you accept whatever has come, where is the ego of having accepted it? It has already come. You only do not resent it and resist it. So it's a kind of a harmony that you develop in your mind. Whatever has come, you have received. So there is no ego on your part. You are not a receiver at all. It has come. I have hosted. See, we don't breed kitten in the ashram. But for years, some kitten or something will be there always. People used to leave it at our gate, and the poor kids will come here. Some will die also. Our Nutun Swamiji gives beautiful names for all these kittens. One is Anamika, another is Radhamani, and both of them are intolerant of each other. They have territorial ego. If Anamika feels this is the area, the second floor where we live, we don't allow her to come inside the kitchen and the dining place. Still she will try to come. So when 2 other kittens, for safety, the other day, Namrata put them into a basket in the sit-out area of the second floor. That Anamika, she started turning her face in the opposite direction. We don't breed them. So I was asking, they are weak, why don't you give them some nutrition? We don't want the kitten, we don't want the cats. But they come here. So what shall we do? We cannot drive them away. So any time they are free to mate, to become pregnant, to have kids, we will also try to protect them. But sometimes they are eaten by the tom cat. We don't want them. But as long as they come here, we look after them. Nadatepi adadanascha najaratya ajarannabi. A Maha Bhokta will never resent activity. he will not resent any arrival in his life, nor will he resent any exit from his life, including birth and death. Bhunjanovi, nayo bhungte. But in doing all these things, he has the feeling that I am not doing. We are not hosting these kittens. They come here. As we eat, they also give them milk and other food, biscuits, etc. For some days, Ma was not able to do it in time, so the birds used to come earlier. So I started feeding them. Our kitten go and disturb them. So when the kitten go there, they are all afraid. Both are there. What can be done? So for many months I was feeding them. Thereafter they stopped coming. So we stopped. They don't communicate with us. If they were communicating, we could have told them, come again, we are ready. I think you should get reconciled to this kind of a flexibility. Why don't you become free? Be free. What is your relationship with your children, if you ask me? The only relationship is that those children were born in your family, that's all. Nothing else. The children born in another family, you don't have any concern. Look after them as long as they want. Once they become grown up, you tell them, you are grown up, you are an adult, be careful. Let us be free. Don't saddle us. So don't talk to them even unless it is necessary. In the fourth chapter, Krishna says, Karmanya akarmayah pashyed, akarmanicha karmayaha, sa buddhiman manusyeshu, sa yuktaha, Krishna karmagrit. See, this is actually a beautiful discussion. One must have intelligence to understand, participate in it. He who is able to see inaction in action and action in inaction, he is the most wise man, and not only that, he is the magnificent performer. Krishna karma dhikr. He is a wholesome performer, says Krishna. Actually, what are acting? Are you seeing? Certainly not. Your eyes are seeing. Your ears are hearing. Your tongue is tasting. Every activity is ascribed to a specific organ. Because you have a brain and mind, you think. You understand because you have an intelligence. Apart from all these, where the that I identity is there is no action at all. I always put it in this way. Beyond the ego, beyond the body, mind, intelligence and the ego, there is an entity, there is a place, there is an identity for you where no act proceeds from and no effect befalls. It is for you to enquire into and find it out. This is an area where the intelligence has to be dedicatedly employed, pursued, as a result of which you will be able to arrive at the beautiful knowledge of the self. Do everything and understand that all these actions are done peripherally, not centrally. I see because of my eyes. I hear because of my ears. I smell because of my nose. I taste because of the tongue. And I touch because of the skin. So these activities sensations are ascribed to these organs. You are not these. So you have to understand that in the eye level, there is no action whatsoever. There is no result of action also whatsoever. You are free from doing, from suffering the consequences. That state of freedom is encased within the human. A reputed Shankaracharya from the traditional Matham came to a place called Chittoor in Kerala. There is a Brahmin village there. One of the Brahmins there is was a little knowledgeable in Vedanta. So the Swami was received with traditional reception, etc., and he was staying. One day, this man, he had his own ways and methods. So he went there, prostrated before him Sashtanga, and said, "My dear Acharya Deva, I have come here to ask you a question because it pesters me. May I ask you the question? Will you answer me?" He said, "Yes." "What is the question?" Will you follow me and will you be with me? He said, "I have heard that a knower of truth will never have a feeling that I have done anything. Every day you have your bhiksha once or twice. You take a full bhiksha, and after having had it, will you say, 'I have not eaten'?" Did you understand me? Actions are done by the body and the senses. Then the mind, intelligence and the ego. The real personality which you identify as the I, it does not do anything. Nayam hantina hanyate, I have explained it. So after having a full meal, who had the full meal? The hand and the mouth worked together in collaboration. And stomach created the hunger. To appease the hunger seemingly, the hand and the mouth worked in collaboration. And the hunger is appeased, the stomach is full of food. But are you full of food? Have you eaten? In reality, not. A knower of truth will be able to say, "I have not eaten." My dear Acharya, I want to know whether you will be able to say this. He closed his eyes for a while and said, "I will give you an answer tomorrow." At what time? Come by 12 o'clock. He prostrated again and the visitor went away. Next day he arrived at 12 o'clock. "Acharya Deva, here I prostrate before you. I have come to listen to your answer." The Swami said, "No, I have not reached that stage. I have still to do some more voyage. Thank you very much. Very few people are answered sincerely and honestly. So I am grateful to you," and he went away. What do you say about it? Sukha-dukhaih kriya-yogaih bhava-bhavair brahma-pradaih yasya notkramati madihi Maha Bhokta sauchyade. Though the word Bhokta, enjoyer or sufferer, they are generally with reference to sensory experiences. Eating, it's an act of mouth. Seeing, by eyes. So here we are going away from it and touching another point. Sukha-dukkhaih kriya-yogaihi bhava-bhavair brahma-pradaihi yasya notkramati madihi Mahabhokta sauchyade. Sukha-dukkhaih. A point I have explained several times. Even for the morning satsang here, I was discussing about Sukha-dukkhas. Kriya-yogaihi. Victory and defeat, success and failure, Sukha and Dukkha. Bhava-bhavaihi brahma-pradaihi. A number of considerations, attitudes, all of them are causing a lot of delusion. This Mahabharata war was planned. And both sides were expecting it for 13 years. Finally it has come. An ambassador was sent, no less a person that Krishna went for that mission, and he was not able to clinch a kind of a pact avoiding bloodshed. Then the war was fixed. All people assembled, war cries had been raised. Even then, why Arjuna suddenly felt like examining and he was crumbling? Arjuna had his own reasons. He said, I am very sympathetic to my man. I can fight friends, I can fight enemies, but no relatives and friends. Now here I find people whom I adore most and who love me most, between whom there is no enmity or intolerance at all, I have to discharge sharp arrows against. How can I do it? Bhava bhavaihi brahmapradaihi. What all delusions, what all misconceptions Arjuna had. He came for the war with a view to fight and win it, and he argues in a totally different manner. All these were delusions, they were not proper. Yasya notkramati manaha. The mind should not be overwhelmed by, overpowered by, dislodged by, shaken by, attacked by, assaulted by anything. You must have your mind intact, stable. Let it be birth, let it be death, let it be marriage, let it be friends, let it be enemies, let it be success, let it be failure. There is a place for everyone in this world. Everyone. There is a place for everyone in this world. You may not get your opted subjects for your higher studies. Either look for something else or take some other subject that has come, and you will find you will excel in it later. Always our options are not good. There is a great hidden law in the world by virtue of which everyone is led properly to his own destination. I have made 2 sentences in my life. The first sentence is, you will always get what you rightly deserve. You will always get what you rightly deserve. Conversely, whatever you are getting is that which you rightly deserve. Then, a good seeker, if you are, you will always be driven irresistibly to fulfillment, never doubt. Fulfillment is something very great, of a very high dimension. That fulfillment is what everybody is looking for. And you will be driven to fulfillment irresistibly by all the developments that you have. So, drop your ego. Drop your preferences and prejudices. Make the mind flexible, pure, sublime, holy, harmonious, divine, graceful. These are all qualities of the mind. You can have a very graceful mind. Why spend our time unnecessarily quarreling, fighting, blaming others, etc.? He said this, she said this. What? You have no other business in life. Yasya notkramati madihi Maha Bhokta sauchyade. You will be able to carry on with your life, rejoicing, delightfully, revelingly, provided you have this Maha Bhokta bhava. Are you the first person to be born in this world? How many people have already been born, lived and have left? You are going to be the nth man, that's all. Is there anything new in this world? Any kind of a fate, plight, fortune, misfortune, calamity or disaster? Anything new? Take India. What is India? We have thousands of miles sea coast. We are under the vagaries of nature. We have to understand this. Get prepared to meet the vagaries with our own intelligence, modern resources, and cooperation of the people. Educate the people. When there is a national calamity, all of them should divert their resources to relieve the poor. Why not we give lessons, classes? Even now people are helping. But if you teach them and train them, the help will be tremendous. No calamity will look to be a calamity. Sharing is always a joyous proposition. When you start taking, you have no joy. If at all you only have for yourself. You start giving, you will find. All the people who receive from you, they will be joyous. Looking at you, you will also be joyous. So we have to learn to live with calamities, national disasters. Whether it is earthquake, cyclone, floods, drought or anything else. We must be quite prepared for it. Otherwise, don't live in this country at all. We have thousands and thousands of miles surrounded by the sea. What do you think? The earth itself is 3/4 ocean, only 1/4 land. What are we saying? What is there new? Calamity is part of nature's adjustment. We are extracting so many things from the earth. This extraction is something that the earth does not expect. And are we always trying to make it harmonious? I don't know whether we succeed in it. Then what is it that you are reporting? When Bakranangal Dam was built in Punjab for the first time, a very huge dam, and with an amazing measure of catchment area, it started raining and water started collecting there. A huge area of water, so many meters high, the water column. It was a great weight for the earth. So the earth had to balance itself by earthquake. So the earthquake was a result of the dam. Have we studied the earth in full? Have we studied the oceans in full? Have we studied the atmosphere properly? What are you trying to speak then? Let us be wiser. Let us be humbler. Let us be discreet in all our judgment, thoughts, feelings, emotions, evaluations, preparations, caution, care, concern. Maha Bhokta sauchyade. At no point of time, your mind should be overcome by any impact, either from your own mind or from the world interactions outside. Sarasam nirasam jaiva suratam vinatam tatha yaf pashyati samam saumyo Maha Bhokta sauchyade. See, all these are disciplines, sublimations, refinements, integrations, harmonizations, evenizations of your own psycho-intellectual personality. Sarasam, nirasam chaiva. Whether it is tasteful or distasteful. Suratam, viratam tatha. Whether it is a great enjoyment or a harsh suffering. Yaf pashyati samam saumyo. He who is able to look at both in a gentle, amiable, unruffled, harmonious, sublime, soft and assimilating manner. Stand and then tell the world, my dear world, here I open my mind. You know my mind stretches to cover the entire universe. You throw into it whatever you want. Let any sensory object come over. The senses will contact them. Instantly send electrical pulses to the brain, and the brain will interpret them, experience it. The whole process is in my mind. My dear world, you are not greater than my mind. You rest on my mind. I am infinite. If you are infinite, I am far more infinitely resourceful. I have got the capacity to harmonize, evenize everything that comes. I am not going to be ruffled at all. Let it be the impact, a pleasant impact or an unpleasant impact. I will accept both. So far I was deluded and I was looking for the pleasant and hating the unpleasant. So I have thrown away my preference and prejudice. I am now poised, equipoised, flexible, ready to assimilate whatever comes. So put into me whatever you want. Nothing is going to happen to me. Maha Bhokta sauchyade. Such a person is a Maha Bhokta. Not that you arrange for a huge feast and take a purgative 2 days earlier and eat double your stomach. That is not Maha Bhokta. Maha Bhokta means what? The dimension of your mind increases. Your perception becomes huge, vast, immeasurably so. With a small pair of eyes, we see a mustard. We see a mango. We also see a coconut. Then we see a huge tree, the endless seas, and the infinite sky. The eyes remain the same. But it has got a power, as a result of which you can see minute things and also majestic things. And who made the eye? Can you tell me anybody in this world who has made the eyes of a child? The mother doesn't know how the body was formulated. The father certainly does not know. No agency from outside has contributed any share in the matter of building up a body properly for the child, for the fetus. It is its own creation. It is a spiritual creation. So the power that has made the eyes, which have the power of infinite range of vision, what do you think of the inner power then? Any impact our senses bring, we have got the intrinsic power to assimilate it, to dissolve it, to digest it, to overwhelm it. There is no day when I am going to be overwhelmed by the world. As I always say, my dear world, put me to anywhere that you want. Throw me into any situation and please yourself. I will never be undone. You will not be able to add a plus to me, nor you will be able to inflict a minus to me. I am abundant. I am abundant. I have amplitude. I need nothing. I want nothing. 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 Every day I sleep comfortably, leaving everything. That 8-hour sleep I have, in that nobody wants anything from this world. He is absolutely contented and comfortable in sleep. Tell me whether the sleeper then is a dependent or an independent. The real I is in sleep. It's an intransitive verb. I sleep. No object is involved. The sleeper alone is there. These are all the mind's flexibility, the mind's spiritual dimension. What shall I say? The spiritual measure, might, magnitude, potential and resourcefulness. Are you not happy listening to these words? Have you spent any time to understand the resourcefulness of your mind? Our organization is called Center for Inner Resources Development. You know how meaningful the term is? It's a center, an institution. which is interested in enlightening the people about their own inner resources. The inner resources are invisible. They are held by the mind and the intelligence, both of which you know they are, but you don't know what and how. So our center will enable you to understand the inner resources, harness them and employ them discreetly and judiciously for the benefit of the world and for your own elevation and fulfillment. Now we go to the intelligence level. So far we spoke about the mind. Dharma dharmau sukham dukkham tatha marana janmani dhiya yenedi sandyaktam Maha Tyagi sauchyade. Are you with me, my dear souls? All of you are intelligent. But I sometimes find I cannot call you intelligent. Because you are fearing these discussions. You are reluctant about taking up this discussion. Why are you reluctant? Don't you have an intelligence? Wherever the intelligence drives us, knowledge leads us, we must be able to go confidently and comfortably. The greatest persuasion for a human is knowledge. 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 Make a thief understand that thieving is injurious to him and the others. He will stop thieving. Dharma dharmau sukham dukkham tatha marana janmani dhiya yeneti sandyaktam Maha Tyagi sauchyade. We have a number of do's and don'ts, moral and ethical lessons. Sheets and sheets you can write. Ultimately, what are they? All of them are concepts made by the mind, ideas evolved by the intelligence, looking at the same world. Dharma and adharma, sukha and dukkha. About sukha dukkha's I have spoken a lot. Dharma and adharma. This is another pair of opposites. Dharma and adharma. If the whole world is godly, what is their adharma? And what is their specially dharma? Look at your own body. You are giving beautiful, nutritive food in the stomach, alimentary canal. A few inches down below you will find foul-smelling, fecal matter stored by the large intestines. Are not both necessary, a part of our life? We breathe oxygen, but we exhale carbon dioxide. You will find the carbon dioxide is minimally there in every cell in our body. What do you think of dharma and adharma? Is it not dividing a person into dharma this side and adharma that side? Throw away all these concepts. They are constrictions. We want to reach a state of full blessedness, harmony, immaculateness, purity. Can I reach a level of purity, a state of purity where I don't have to bother about dharma and adharma? Buddhi yukto jahadiha ubhe sugrada dushkrade, Krishna says. A man who has got that buddhi yuktada, yoga buddhi, he transcends both sukrida and dushkrida, noble and ignoble deeds he transcends. So, dharma dharmau sukham dukkham tatha marana janmani, death and birth. What dies? Who dies? Do you know of anybody who has died? And do you know of anyone who has known that he was born? Others tell us we were born. Others will tell others that you have died. You neither experience birth nor do you experience death. Maha Tyagi sauchyade. Understand that these are delusional concepts. Concepts evolved by the mind and the intelligence in a state of ignorance, imperfect knowledge and delusion. And then cast them aside. Be childlike innocent. Be harmless. If at all, be helpful. Have no stealth, no ambition, no greed, no hatred, no intolerance. Be an embodiment of love, love personified. Never blame others. Do not blame yourself also. Maha Tyagi sauchyade. So that state of mind and state of intelligence whereby the pairs of opposites like dharma, sukha, dukkha, birth, death and so many other things do not constrict your perception, your vyavahara, that person is a Maha Tyagi. How to make you understand? Magnificent performer. A person becomes a magnificent performer when everything stands multiplied by infinity for him. A Maha Tyagi is one when everything is multiplied by zero. I want nothing from the outside world. I am intrinsically happy and blissful. This is evidence from my sleep. The rich man sleeps. The noble man sleeps. The poor sleeps. The ignoble sleeps. The dacoit sleeps. The prostitute sleeps. All people are sleeping. Everybody is equally embraced by the invisible inner soul. And if all are equally embraced by the soul, all the differences in the wakeful state, they have no value or purpose. So why don't you shed? I am going to live a free and a fair life. I have no desire. I have no contempt. I have no hatred. I have no intolerance. I am loving if at all. For such a person, is there any rule or regulation? Certainly not. We have got something called the Shukashtaka. I will recite one verse from it and all of you understand. Bheda bhedau sapadi galitau punya pape vishirne maya mohau kshayamupagatau nashta sandeka vritte shabdadidam trigunarehidam prapya tattvavabodham nistrai gunye pathi vicharada ko vidhi ko nishayadha. I want to get up and walk, sing this sloka and move in my own ecstatic harmony. Shuka Maharshi says, Nistrai gunye pathi vicharadaha. Don't tell me anything from your Puranas, Idihasas, Vedas, Shastras and other Granthas. I am one who is not interested in anything of the three gunas which constitute Prakriti. I am not interested in a heaven, celestial regions, nor am I afraid of a hell. I don't want sukha, nor am I afraid of dukkha. I don't need a speck of matter from this world. If possible, take everything from me. Take the air from my lungs, blood from my vessels, food from my stomach. I shall be happy. I am not enamored of this world at all, at all, at all. Every day I sleep, embraced my own invisible self. When it embraces, no craving at all for the sleeper. What more do you want to evidence how fulfilling your own inside, your own self is? Even an expectant mother, fondling a child, feels sleepy, puts the sleeping child comfortably on the bed and she goes to sleep. If the delightful sight was there, and that delightful sight was left and the mother's system wanted to sleep, don't you think the sleep state is superior to what she was in? Answer me. Answer me. Don't mortgage your intelligence. Use it. Use it and answer me. In sleep, does the sleeper want anything from this world? He is unconscious of the body, unconscious of the mind, unconscious of the intelligence, unconscious of the world. In such a condition, he is embraced by the invisible Lord, invisible self. Judge your personality from that level. Not alone your wakeful experiences. They are only for 16 years in a day. Half the time, 16 hours in a day, half the time you are sleeping. Where is your son? Where are your daughters? What about your body? What about your American life? What about life in France, Japan? Are you conscious of them? And that too for 8 hours you sleep, where none of the wakeful materials has any relevance, utility or purpose. Your gold, nonsense. Your children, I cannot condemn them because you will not like it. Bheda bhedau sabadi galidau punya pape vishirne. My dear souls, this is India. This is the culture of India, the cultural elegance of India, the spiritual profundity of India, the yogic excellence of India, the psycho-intellectual greatness, magnificence and superlative excellence of India. Bheda bhedau sapadigalitau punya pape vishirne. Punya and papa, they have become worn out. Don't speak about punya and papa. They are worn out, outdated, time barred. Bheda bhedau. You speak about differences. What differences? Only 16 hours of the day you have differences. You wake up, you activate your senses, and these 5 senses bring a manifold. Senses are only 5, but the perceptions are manifold. Is it not the greatness of the senses? Senses being 5, they perceive infinite number of objects in this world. How? You tell me. Senses are only 5. They can perceive at least 5 or 10 or 15. But the senses say infinite objects are there. Infinite distances are there. Are they not a creation of your own senses? And your senses are made from where? From yourself, by yourself. You have not borrowed any material from the world. The fetus collected only blood cells from the mother for growing, and it formulated all without the knowledge of the mother and the father. So the power of the senses, is it instilled by the world? Or the power of the senses is what makes the world and perceive it? The equation is not from the world to you, but from you to the world. I wake up, I see the world. I close my eyes, I go to sleep. Mr. World, keep quiet. You are nobody before me. You are nobody before me. Don't wag your tail. For your existence, you have to seek sanction from me. I have to say, yes, you exist. For my existence, I don't need your sanction. I go to sleep, I wake up. I go to sleep, I wake up. Bheda bhedau, sapadigalitau. All kinds of differential notions fall. Punya pape vishirne. Only when there are many, You call some virtuous and some vicious. Suppose there is only one. Can you divide it as virtuous and vicious? Sin and virtue, good and bad? Outside and inside? Can you divide the sky and then say it is sinful and virtuous? Can you say it is good and noble? Can you say it is external and internal? Bheda bhedau sapadigalitau punya pape vishirne maya mohau kshayamupagato. My dear souls, can you believe me? If you cannot understand me, I prefer that you understand me. Maya mohau kshayamupagatau nashta sandeha vritte. Maya and moha kshayamupagatau. Completely decline. Maya to whom? Moha to whom? For whom? The sleeper? Can anything in this world entice a sleeper? Take tons of gold and ask the sleeper, it is here, please take it. Kshayamupagadau nashta sandeha vrittehe. There is no doubt in his mind that the I is the witness of everything. All the other things are witnessed. My body is witnessed. Mind is witnessed. Thought is witnessed. Knowledge is witnessed. Doubt is witnessed. Ego is witnessed. When I am grieving, I remain a witness in grieving. The witnessed are many, including the world. The witness is only one. It never becomes the witnessed, nor the witnessed will become the witness. So you are the witness. As a witness, you witness the whole universe, the whole Panchabhutas. If you have got the capacity to witness the whole Panchabhutas, including the infinite sky, tell me, my dear souls, what is it that you want from this world? What? The charcoal of the world? Everything is matter. Matter has no power to produce an experience at all. If you want peace and joy, it is an emotion of the mind. Mind is within your body. It is nowhere in the world. Being a master of your mind, what are you begging for? What is it that you are looking for? Please plead that I am ignorant, deluded. There may be a salvation. Never boast of anything at all. Maya mohau kshayamupagatau nashta sandeha vrittehe shabdatidam trigunarahitam prapya tattva avabodham. What are these concepts, my dear souls? I wish, will there not be a few in my viewers who really appreciate them? At least honor this wisdom. Honor this land which has produced this wisdom. We call India poor. Yes, we are poor. But the poor are the people who have the richest hearts in this world. Now, I am one who embraced poverty, who embraced austerity, who embraced simplicity, who embraced truthfulness, who embraced wholesomeness, optionally. Therefore, nothing is frightening me. We embrace poverty. And we consider ourselves to be the most blessed when we are able to embrace poverty. Can you imagine the wealth and the treasure we have? A mountain of gold you bring before the ascetics, they will say, no, I don't want. So, how much superbly rich his mind should be? We are seemingly beggars, but we are really appallingly opulent and resourceful. Shabdatītam triguna-rahitam prapya tattva avabodham. What is our wealth? Our wealth is the truth. The truth we have known, we know. Tattva avabodham prapya triguna-rahitam. That truth is something which the gunas of Prakriti cannot touch. Cannot touch. Cannot touch. It is beyond the Triguna. Neither Sattva, nor Rajas, nor Tamas will be able to have its suzerainty over this. Which is the Tattva? The witness I. The witness I. That I. Shabdātītam. It cannot be described by words. Sound arises from it, but sound cannot reach it. Triguna-rahitam prapya tattva babodham. Being so, Shuka says, I am walking, I am journeying in the path of knowledge. Nistrai gunye pathi vicharataha. I am rambling. I am peripatetic in this wonderful spiritual path of indifference, the transcendental path where I have gone above the three gunas. Nistrai gunye, devoid of the three gunas, pathi vicharataha, rambling in that path. Ko vidhi, ko nishedha. What injunction do I have to honor? What prohibition I have to concede? Nothing. I am above vidhi and nishedha. Can you imagine? This is the psycho-intellectual excellence. Psycho-intellectual excellence that our people have been able to achieve in abundant measure, and also disseminate lavishly. Bheda bhedau sapadi galitau punya pape vishirne maya mohau kshayamupagatau nashta sandeha vritte shabdātītam triguna-rahitam prapya tattva avabodham nistrai gunye pathi vicharataha ko vidhi ko nishedha. I don't know whether you understand me, appreciate me, but I am very happy. I am grateful to you because it is because of the occasion that all of you are seemingly there and you want me to talk, or I talk and you happen to hear and you like to hear. That is why I am talking. Otherwise I won't be talking. So I am very grateful to you. I am very happy also. Though I don't see you, all my talk is addressed to you. Wonderful. I thought I can conclude the discussion today, but apparently no. I have noted some slokas from Yoga Vasistha Ramayana, especially from the last portion, Nirvana Prakarana, where Rama also says, you know what finally Rama says? The concluding portion of Nirvana Prakarana is, in some places, Sri Rama registers his prostration to himself. Are you following me? Huh? Rama, looking at Vasishtha Deva, who was showering his instructions on him, absorbing and assimilating them, becoming them, he finally says, I have absorbed all that you say. I have understood. There is only the subject, no object at all. All the objects are just like those displayed in dream in the sleeper's own consciousness. The sleeper alone is there. The entire dream world is displayed and resting on him. So he says, Andha prasannamadhirasta samasta shoka. Andha prasannamadhirasta samasta shoka. Shobham gadoham amalashaya eva shandhya. Anandamatmani gada swayamatmanaiva. Nairmalyamapyuvagadosmi namostu mahyam. He says, I prostrate before myself. My dear souls, this is India. Spirituality is not a struggle, not at all. It is the way for the refined, rational set of people. It is the way for the intelligent, for the pure-hearted, for the noble-minded. It is an invaluable, endless treasure. It is very, very great. Andha prasannamadhirasta samasta shokaha. All my shoka has gone. Shobham gadoham amalashayayeva shandhya. I have attained, my dear sage, to my own intrinsic luster. Anandamatmani gada swayamatmanaiva. I have reached the state of blissfulness, generated, preserved and perpetuated by my own mind and intelligence. Nairmalyamapyuvagadosmi. I have attained a state of absolute immaculateness, purity. I prostrate before me. I prostrate before my purity, before my pure inner spiritual splendor. At least hear this. What do you think of India's greatness? We are the people who discovered zero. Zero. We discovered the speed of light. And the modern science also has done it. The difference is very marginal. Can you imagine? I don't think India lacks in intelligence. I am very sorry that intelligence is not ruling the country. Don't allow money to rule. Intelligence should rule. Intelligence can make money. Money cannot make intelligence. We are all intelligent. And we want intelligence to rule the country, to rule the world. There will be no harm. It is that greed and money and wealth that spoil everything. Our contentment does not depend upon wealth at all. Our greatest wealth is contentment. That is what we have identified as. So, we will never become impoverished. India will not be impoverished. Anything happens. We will not be impoverished at all as long as we have a heart and intelligence. Let me stop. We shall conclude the session as usual. Samvedya varjitamanuttamamekamadhyam samvitpadam vikalanam kalayan mahatman hridyeva tishtha kalanarahita kriyam tu kurvan agartrapadamethya samodita shri kurvan agartrapadamethya samodita shri. Hari, Hari, Hari. We shall have the conclusional Omkara. Be ready for it. Hari Om Tats. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.